At Unite for Dominion a year ago, January 2010, Francis Armstrong from Kingston had this great word, Joan.
About the roar of the lion.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, but you're going to be really surprised how he makes this application. And I thought it was so great. I want you to hear it. By the way, all of Unite for Dominion last year was so awesome. We're going to be posting clips as we go. But watch this, Francis Armstrong.
Discovery Magazine, the Discovery Channel did a documentary on lions. And in this documentary, they documented this lion that they assumed was going to die. They wanted to follow the stages of how this lion was going to die because they knew it was wounded, and they would tempt it with food and all these sorts of things, and it would never even as much as look at the food that was before it. And it laid there, and they were wondering, how's it going to die? It's not eating, it's not drinking, until an enemy came and tried to steal the meat that they had laid before it. And the minute that they would try to steal the meat, the lion all it would have to do is growl a little bit, and those little coyotes would take off, or whatever, those jackals would take off. And they thought that was very interesting. So as the weeks went on, this lion started to get better. And this is what they knew before. They knew that lions that had never been injured ever in their life had a 100-meter radius where their enemy would not come near it. But this is what they discovered with this wounded lion that was restored and recovered, that now it had a 300-meter radius that the enemies wouldn't come near it. And this is what they said. They said, a wounded lion that has been restored is more dangerous than a lion that had never been wounded. And the Lord showed me here just a second ago that you have been wounded, but you've been restored. And you were dangerous to the enemy before, but you're more dangerous now. Because whatever your sphere of influence was before you were wounded, amen, so now your wounding is your weapon. So the thing the enemy thought that he would divide you with, and this makes sense to me now from last night, the angels of God have covered you and said no mercy shall be extended. And because of the mercy of God upon your lives, your sphere of influence now is greater than what it ever was before. Because the roar that comes up from a wounded lion is more powerful than the roar of a lion that had just gone through life and everything was okay. And Jesus was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of his peace was upon us, and by his stripes we are healed. Jesus had to go to the cross, because by going to the cross, he became more dangerous than if he had never gone to the cross. Jesus' sphere is more powerful. Come on now, he told his disciples, I have to go to the cross. They didn't understand it. And those of us that are here might not understand the plans and purposes of God and why people have to go through things. But when we go through the restoration process, we come out of it more powerful than we've ever been before. So I hear in my spirit, coming out of this place, a roar from the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And I knew it when I walked in here on the very first night, because the one thing I'm very sensitive to is praise. And Ryan, and listen, I'm going to tell you this, that not only has what happened to you been powerful, but it has flipped over until your children, because I have never heard you lead worship and praise so powerfully as from the moment we walked in here, and the atmosphere was charged with angelic activity, and something was happening in the realm of the Spirit. So in a sense, your sphere of influence is even greater because of your family. And then I got thinking, my God, what does that mean for your grandchildren? What does that mean for their legacy? Everything that could have been wiped out, everything that could have been altered, everything that could have been damaged has now been restored. Hey, help me, son. And the enemy that was coming to try to steal, amen, from you, there was still enough of a roar in you to keep that enemy at bay, to protect what God said was precious, and to protect what God says was yours. Because when God says, this land is your land, this land is our land. When we sing, I stand on guard for thee, this land belongs to God. This is not the enemy's land. Canada belongs to God. Canada has got to have national leaders stand up and say, I will not die in this soil other than die for the cause of Christ. I will not lay down the mandate. So there's a wounded soldier that's been restored.